There is a massive exploit in this video, but you can't see it. It's not visible. The only reason I know of this exploit is I tested this run, but I didn't play it on Iron Man. And I jumped into the console and I looked at Germany to have a look at what they were struggling with. And one thing Germany does every single game is, hey, I am FeedBackGaming, and this is a World War II game called Hearts of Iron 4. Today's achievement is...
Bevrijding.
Oh my goodness, Dave, that pronunciation was on point. We're gonna do...
Bevrijding.
I know, right? Dead on every time. So, what is...
Bevrijding.
It is a Dutch achievement. Iron Man, historical, regular difficulty. Let's go. As the Netherlands, liberate the continental Netherlands after relocating the government to the East Indies. Let's do...
Bevrijding.
Get the achievement.
Bevrijding.
And we are going to...
Bevrijding.
The Netherlands, hopefully.
Bevrijding. 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 Bevrijding.
Okay, let's go. But before we begin, this video is sponsored by Patreon. Everyone who is a patron, I love you. Thank you so much for supporting me. The link is in the description below. You get access to awesome rewards, and it helps me produce videos on this channel during hard times. I'm sorry the number of videos have declined recently, and it's because this video required so much planning. This is probably my 7th, 8th, or maybe 9th run of this. If you're on my Discord, you probably see me live stream it on Discord a few times, so you know how much time I put into this. As we progress through this video, I'm going to tell you what I've attempted to do, what has worked, and what does not work. This will give you guys a better idea of what to do and what not to do. I'll admit, there are probably cheesy ways of getting this achievement by turning historical off. But for consistency reasons, to make it easier for you to get this achievement with my guide, let's leave historical on. If you found an awesome strat with historical off, drop it below in the comments. I want to see what cool cheesy things you guys have done. In summary, you've got to lose all your land to the Netherlands and capitulate. Then you've got to go for continue the war in Bratislava. Then you've got to finally do liberation after the Netherlands has been liberated.
Liberation.
Fairly straightforward, right? Unfortunately, it's not. The German AI at the moment is insanely strong. 9 times out of 10, they will dumpster the Soviet Union, leaving you with this continental German empire that is impossible to defeat. This is one of the tougher achievements in Hearts of Iron 4. Another achievement that's next to impossible is 30 minutes of hell. You want to know how to do that? Click on the eye in the top right now. Before we even hit play, I'm going to tell you some things that I tried that don't work. First of all, I attempted to boost Germany towards democratic with the goal of causing instability in Germany, lowering their stability. It doesn't work. At the very start of the game, they will hire the demagogue and it'll push them towards their ideology. It's a waste of political power. I also attempt to do this with Italy. Now, they will flip to democratic roughly around late 1939, but it's already too late. Through national focus, they've joined the Axis, and they'll already be at war with France, so it's pointless. Now, let's talk about what works. Turkey. Boost party popularity. That's right. We're going to flip Turkey to democratic. We're also going to do the same for Spain as well, but we need to wait for the civil war to start. A popular question that people ask me is, how do I defeat Germany in patch 1.7.1? There isn't magic words that I can tell you that will make you defeat Germany easily. In summary, there are many small things you can do to Germany to limit their snowballing ability. Limit the amount of factories they've got, restrict the amount of divisions they've got, cut off their resources, slow down their expansions, reduce their manpower, their air force, and their navy. There are so many small little things that you can do to try and limit Germany's expansion. To eventually, they'll reach a point to where they are overwhelmed and they won't be able to continue. That's the objective of this video. And one way of doing that is to open up new front lines. One in Turkey and potentially one in Spain. I will note, there is a small chance that Spain may join the Axis early. If that happens, then so be it. Have you got your notepads out? Are you ready for the homework for tonight, guys? Well, let's go. First of all, research. We are going to go for the Panda F. Probably the most pathetic name for any bomber in Hearts of Iron 4. Let's do that. And also, we're going to focus on machine tools. And we're going to focus on construction. Free civilian factories. For this strategy to work, we need to import lots of goods from America. So we will need lots of civilian factories. We're going to build them here and here at the very start of the game. As we unlock more building slots, we will build naval dockyards in the Dutch East Indies. Free military factories. All of them are going to be on guns. Free naval dockyards. We are going to produce and build submarines at the top. And then 1 convoy. There we go. That's the production. National focus set. We are going to go for form new government. Here we go. Decision time. What have I tried in the past that worked and what didn't work? At the very start of the game, as the Netherlands, you have got to choose between 2 prime ministers. This guy and this guy, Dirk Jan de Geer. The choice is between more war support and more political power. That is the simplistic view. If you go for this guy, you'll have more war support and a reduction of consumer goods. Unfortunately, though, you have a big penalty to stability. You have to pay more for economic laws changed, and you get a massive political power hit from weak government. Alternatively, if you go with Dirk, you get a hit to war support, but you'll result in getting more political power. So then you're going to ask me now, why is war support so important? Well, there's a potential for you to go for the national focus of overturn military budget cuts, which gives 10% war support. Then you will select one of your ships and make it the pride of the fleet, which will give you an additional 5 war support. This allows you to go for early mobilization early. So war support would potentially lead on to slightly less consumer goods, as well as more construction speed from early mobilization. The choice is so much more complex because you have this focus, obtain foreign colonial investments that allow you to put political power into it to get more oil, more civilian factories, more construction speed, and a reduction of consumer goods. When you zoom back and look at the big picture, the truth is there's not a big difference between these 2 prime ministers for this strategy. I will know war support and a higher surrender limit by going for the guy you get at the start of the game will be more beneficial if you wanted to hold on to the Netherlands for a longer period. But that's not what we're going to do. So we are going to go with Dirk de Geer to result in more political power. Assigned divisions, we are going to delete them all. Manpower is a big deal for the Netherlands. We need to get all of our manpower from the Dutch East Indies. And this division will do nicely. Create a bunch of these and deploy them as soon as they are available. High priority, drop them here, and then we'll deploy them immediately. F2, shift left click, and right click on reserve. Click reserve theater and G to merge. And we're going to merge them all, and we're going to put them on naval exercises, which is K. And also all of these new submarines will go to this new fleet. Here we go, our fleet has merged. Then we're going to select the greatest submarine admiral in the entire game. I kid you not, this guy is amazing. And then we're also going to say automatic split off, and we're going to move this here so all the steel goes towards producing these submarines at the start of the game. Going to deploy these divisions in the Dutch East Indies, take them all away, and then we just keep deploying individual divisions into this army. Right, now we're going to deploy these divisions in Europe. Pop them right here. Amsterdam, The Hague, and Rotterdam. Go here. Select a general, select a field marshal, and what we'll do is assign all new divisions to go here. Now you can just leave this. You can produce guns and send them all directly to this area of the Netherlands. Our objective of this campaign is not to hold back the Germans, it's just to slow them down. Also, one thing we're going to do is when we produce this first submarine, we are going to change it. It's a little bit too heavy on the torpedoes. We take 1 torpedo off, and that will drop the cost from 570 to 470. So the result of that, when the war does kick off, we will have more submarines. We're also going to make sure all of these guys go onto this fleet. There we go. The setup phase is done. Right, so our new government has formed now, and we have got 100% stability, which gives a production output, more political power, and a reduction of consumer goods. But the downside is now we have 0 war support. Now we're going to go for obtain foreign colonial investments, which unlocks a bunch of decisions that cost political power to give a bunch of bonuses. We've got machine tools, and we're going to go for disperse industry. Now we're going to go for the Crown Jewel Colony, which builds infrastructure as well as factories in the Dutch East Indies. This is useful early on for construction speed, as well as extra factories just for overall industrial expansion. We have got the Spanish Civil War. Now, ideally, we would prefer the Republicans to win. We're just going to go with the presumption that nationalists will win. So we're going to right-click on Nationalist Spain and boost party popularity for Democratic. First research is done. We're going to go for the next construction. And now we have our first plane. Now we're going to start working on electronics. We want to rush down all the computing techs. And we're going to start producing our planes now. The Panda F, all the factories, leaving 1 factory on guns, just so we can produce a few divisions on the side. We are lacking rubber. Oh, but you know where we've got a lot of rubber? The Dutch East Indies. Our first strategic bomber. There it is. That little beauty. We're going to focus on Java now to get the extra civilian factories and infrastructure. If I was to break this down into 3 parts, Part 1 is to focus on your navy and submarines. Part 2 is to focus on planes. Part 3 is to overwhelm Germany until eventually we break their back. Eventually. These are the decisions we get for colonial investments. This one is okay. Usually results in 1 civilian factory. So I will only go for this one if I've got excess political power. The next one is very good. 15% extra construction speed. Also very useful. These ones you can do now or you can do them later in the game. The first 2 you have to be at peace. So my advice is spam this one, and if you've got the extra political power, go for these 2. And then if you've got a lot of political power and you don't know how to spend it, you go for the top one. Right now, we're going to save up 150 political power, and we're going to go for free trade. Next up, mechanical computing, and we're going to rush all the way down to improved computer machine. Then we can get a bonus for advanced computer machine, and then we can get this 2 years ahead of time. Don't forget about your repairs. Here we go, and we're going to go for free trade. Next up, we're going to work towards continue public works, which gives a bonus for industry research. The reason we do this is we can go for disperse industry 2, and then rush for disperse industry 3. So abandon the gold standard. So disperse 2, and then when we get the bonus, disperse 3. Now we're on free trade, we're having a penalty of 10% for submarine output. So to balance that, we're going to import a little bit of steel from the UK. Regarding oil company investments, not only do they give you more oil overall, which is great for free trade because more people will want to trade with you to get oil, but also if you take these several times in a row, they'll give you a bonus of civilian factories. The West Indies one, if you click it 5 times, you get 1 civilian factory. The East Indies one will give you potentially a bonus of 3 civilian factories at 3, 6, and 10. Because the West Indies cost less political power, my advice is get the 5 first to get the 1 civilian factory and then start working on the East Indies. But don't matter about this. You can delay this because you can be at war and still go for these. We've got our construction 2 finished now. We can start focusing on doctrines. We're going to go for trade indiction to get the bonuses for submarines. And we're going to spend our 100 naval XP to get it twice as fast. And now we've run out of fuel. Not a big deal. East Indies, fuel. Here we go. Fixed. There's quite a few useful focuses here. So this will reduce some of the construction penalty that we start the game with. And eventually we need to work towards Phillips and the research slot. We need to do this before we get capitulated, because if we lose Holland, this isn't selectable. It is also useful to go for prepare naval expansion. This will result in unlocking the submarine 3, and it will also result in getting naval doctrines a lot quicker too. As I said to you, I have to control the mainland to go for this focus, so I can't delay it too long. A third thing is we need to get to continue the war in Bratislava as quickly as we can after we capitulated. So these focuses, once again, also need to be done as soon as possible. Because we're focused on submarines early on, I'm going to go for overturn military budget cuts so we can get those extra submarines as early as we can. Don't forget, more construction boosts. Keep selecting this. Turkey currently is 39% democratic. Gonna go for disperse 3. Spain is 25% democratic. They normally flip around about 55 to 60%. Once they've flipped, you can stop the boost. It's important that you don't go for the naval doctrines unless you have a boost for it, either through national focus or through spending naval XP. Don't select them in their raw cost. They just cost way too much. There we go. Now we've got 100 naval XP. We can rush you. From 188 days to 88 days. It's just a no-brainer. Got more naval dockyards, and as we assign it, we need more steel, which we will get from the UK. Next up, national focus. Cornerstone of colonial defense. This will allow us to complete our trade indiction for submarines before the war. Very important. Right, we can start exercising our planes now. Pilot exercises, double the size, and then half it. We're going to go for 50 air wing size. Seeing as we've got a nice stockpile of fuel now, we're going to cancel the import from our puppet, and then wait until we run out. And then when we run out, we import some more. That way we can take advantage more of our civilian economy. Right, we've got 150 political power now. We're going to go for the anti-revolutionary, which gives more stability and political power. Now we're going to focus more on the East Indies again. 2 civilian factories, extra infrastructure, as well as another civilian infrastructure. Sumatra first. Right, we've got bonuses through our focus tree now, so we can rush these. The main focuses for the East Indies are done now, so we're going to focus towards getting Phillips. Our air wings are maxed now. Stop exercising them. It's just a waste of fuel and a waste of planes, because some of them will be involved in accidents. Get the next air wing and start exercising them. Do this one by one. Next advisor we're going to go for is the war industrialist. And the next buildings in the queue are naval dockyards here and here. Now, we're going to work on air doctrine. Air superiority. Strategic destruction. What? Popular question. What air doctrine should I go for, Dave? The short answer is fighters and heavy bombers is strategic destruction. Air superiority and close air support is battlefield support. And fighters and tactical bombers is operation integrity. All three focus trees have bonuses for fighters, but the bonuses are slightly better for fighters for strategic destruction and operation integrity. Heavy bombers, close air support, light bombers. That's all you need to know. And today we're going to go for heavy bombers. So air superiority it is. Now we can go for Phillips. This will give a bonus for electronics. If you time it just right, after improved computer machine, you can finish this within 100 days. That's a 90% discount on the amount of time it takes. Very good. And this is the final tech for our submarine bonuses. Select something else and then pop on the 100% bonus. There you go. We've now got the option now to build some more factories. So we're going to go for some more naval dockyards here. And then military factories here. Right, we're behind on aluminium. It's only 5%. But it's best to take care of that now. So what we're going to do is import aluminium from the Dutch East Indies. Going to get this research slot, and then we will go for rely on submarines to get the submarine 3. Don't need to focus as much on naval experience, right? So what we can do is grab those capital ships and those cruisers, merge them up, and just stick them in port for now on reserve. That way we don't have to rely as much on fuel from the Dutch East Indies. Forming a new air wing. Don't forget about your bombers. Keep forming new air wings. We've got rely on submarines now, so we can boost towards submarine 3. What's also important, though, before you complete this research, you go for the ship designer of raiding fleet designer. That way you can get less visibility and more speed. I'm going to exercise my armies at home. We're just going to get them to level 3, which will just give them a little bit of extra bite. Hey, Turkey! The Republic of Turkey. Cancel, boost. Now we're just waiting for Spain. Next up, we're going to go for curtail colonial autonomy, which reduces their autonomy over time. But what really, really sucks is it reduces our political power, but it is what it is. The submarine 3 is done. So what we do is immediately discontinue the old model, hop on the big engine, which gives extra speed and less visibility, and bigger torpedoes. From my experimentation, the best submarine attack is around about 40 to 50. But right now, we're going to struggle with production by adding on those extra torpedo tubes. And then we flip it out to the next model. There we go. A lot of people keep talking about this. They say that the Submarine 3 is OP. Let's find out why. There are two key aspects on why the Submarine 3 is really strong. First of all, the stats are superior. Significantly less visibility for the Submarine 3. Also, an extra 50% more HP. One of the problems with submarines is they've got weak HP, and usually one hit from a death charge will kill it. Having a submarine that can take damage, go back and repair, and then later join the battle again at a later date is so crucial. And finally, the third and final thing is the cost. From a Submarine 1 to a Submarine 2, it's double the cost of resources. 1 steel to 2. The cost from a Submarine 2 to a Submarine 3 is 0% more. Then we look at the Submarine 4. Once again, double the amount of resources used. 3 steel and 1 chromium. So from effectiveness standpoint, the Submarine 3 is perfect. Unless you have unlimited resources and a crap ton of steel and chromium. In that case, the Submarine 4 is going to be your winner. I'm going to start working on the next strategic bomber now. We're going to go for the Panda M. We've got improved computer machine, and with the Phillips boost, we can now get this in record time. When it comes down to political focuses on the far right of the focus tree, Gateway to Europe will skip if we're at war. Cave to the British will skip if we're in the Allies. So at that point, you just need to worry about unity through democracy and then go down that path. It is time. Stop exercising your divisions. Let them build entrenchment. You can stop producing guns. You can stop training new divisions. You need to stop exercising your submarines, take them back to base, make sure they're all repaired, then select your submarines, and we need to break off some of the weaker ones. We need to look for the submarine 1s. These are the old models you start the game with, which I like to refer to as bathtubs. There should be precisely 15 of these. And what I'd like you to do with these is to move them into the top of the Baltic Ocean. Right there. And then what we're going to do is boost relations with Sweden. Yeah, here comes the cheese, boys. Here comes the cheese. Now, we're going to select all new submarines to be added to the Dutch theatre. Select the existing submarines and then split them off. Actually, what we'll probably do, just for convenience sake, is this submarine fleet that's in the Baltic is make it a different color, just so it sticks out. There we go. And these guys I'm going to split into 10 sub-wolf packs. 10, 11, that'll do. Move that guy to the right so he's on the end. Select all of you guys. Select automatic split off when damaged and automatic reinforcement. And we're going to put these guys, to begin with, on engage at low risk. There's a few techs we can go for now that's going to give us a bonus. For instance here, magnetic detector, spend 50 XP and get 20% extra sub attack. Yes. If you've done this right, you should have about 300 to 400 strategic bombers. First of all, right click Eastern Germany, strategic bomb, and we are going to go for military factories. Bomb 'em, boys. Regarding the submarines, the packs to the west, we're going to put these on convoy raiding here, 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 and here. Now we've got enough relations with Sweden, we can ask for docking rights and cancel those improved relations, because that will hurt our political power per day otherwise. Luxembourg, and then it's us. Gonna go for foundations of the defense to begin with, because we're gonna work towards colonial shipyards. Gonna join the Allies, and then we are gonna drop our bombs on Germany. Oh my goodness. Oh my damn. Look at all these, boys. Look at all of these. Unfortunately, because we have pretty much no convoys, there are very few of these we can actually accept. 65 convoys? No. 19? No. 5? Throw. No, 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 no. We could actually accept this one from Malaya. Only 13 colonies, and they give us 2 convoys with that. So I'll accept that. Everyone else gets a straight up nope. Also, don't forget about your bombers and move them to the UK. You don't need to do this, because when your nation falls, you won't lose these bombers anyway. Strategic bombers have very high air defense, and they've got very high air attack as well. The result is they can fight toe-to-toe with fighters for quite a decent duration. So right now, we're being really annoying to the Germans, because they have to bring 800 of their fighters to contest us in Eastern Germany, which will slow down their advance to the west. And here we go, the first convoy is getting sunk. This is very, very, very important. We need to do lots of damage to their convoys as quickly as possible and in an early game as possible. The brave Indonesian warriors fighting so hard and dying. F in the comments. Rip. Also, to make things really annoying, is I'm going to split these in several pieces. Not for the purpose of bombing effectively. There's probably not enough bombers here to do that. But the reason we do this is we want to split up the German Air Force into different pieces so they have less planes in the areas they are currently pushing into. Right, what I want you to do now is put your ships, the ones in the Baltic and the western part of Sweden. And then we are going to convoy raid here and here. Make sure you split off. And it's very important you put these guys on low risk. They have to be low risk. These guys suck. These are your bathtubs. They will die really quickly. And we're just going to put these guys out here just to be really annoying and hit all those German convoys. And they're going to lose all their convoys mighty quickly. France has now fallen. So, what is next? That's right, Denmark and Norway is next. So, we need to make sure we cover these zones. The Norwegian Sea and the Eastern North Sea. We need to slow down their invasion of Norway. And to do that, we're going to intercept as many convoys as possible. There are other boosts we can go for as well. In the short term, we have got electric torpedo, which is a defensive bonus to reduce the reveal chance of your subs. And then there's also homing torpedo, which increases damage by a good flat amount. As soon as we're able to do so, we need to go with continue the war in Bratislava, because otherwise we're going to have fuel problems, and we're going to have manpower problems, and we're going to have convoy problems, as we're having all those problems right now. The only way you can go for this is if you reduce their autonomy below 60%. And right now, it's so close. Just need to drop a few more autonomy points, and then we can continue the war in the east. I've just spotted that accidentally, I've got 2 wolf packs in the Baltic Sea. Oops. Oh well. That was a mistake, but we'll make the most of it. All right, continue the war in Bratislava. 35 days. Oh my goodness, let's get this done. 0, 0, 0. Oh, 0. We've got the strategic bomber 2 now, so my advice to you is give it the biggest possible engine to begin with. That'll give it more agility, and that means it will have more defense in the air. Then we'll start to focus on reliability and bombing. As you can see now, our secret Baltic fleet wouldn't be able to get by the Danish belts, can get in here and do lots and lots of damage. The overall effect of this is it reduces the production output of Germany. So the result is less convoys, less resources getting imported, and therefore overall less production based on those raw resources. But also, if you look really closely, some of these are troop transports, which results in overall less divisions that we have to fight later on. Right, we've done it. Continue the war in Bratislava. We've got loads of manpower. First up, we're going to go for the western capital, which gives us loads of cities. Be aware, once you annex your puppet through that focus, some of these constructions glitch out. As you can see, it's going to be completed on the 16th and then the 17th. So this is not progressing at the all. So kill it and then start building some new ones. In this case, we don't need to build them here. So what we can do is actually build them in the West Indies here and here. So now we've gone from construction to navy. Now we're going to military factories to focus on our air, aka our bombers. So right now we need to produce just enough oil to keep all of our planes and submarines operational. And my advice to do that is to go for war economy, because that removes the big penalty for production. Still a little bit behind, so we'll get a little bit of oil from the United States, just a little bit. There we go. All right, we've got naval dockyards now, so we're going to assign those here and pop them here. We also do need more steel, so we'll get that as well. There's a lot of things to sort out at this point. Naval repair queue, assign naval dockyards. Okay, so this is the effect of bombing and convoy raiding, less war support. Just look at the research here. So homing torpedo for extra sub-attack, encryption for extra spotting, and working on our air doctrines. Regarding production, working on the submarines that we've got, as well as the convoys, as well as producing as many bombers as possible. Because they're invading Norway now, what I'm going to do is blockade them in. Let them do their little naval invasion. Move from the North Sea to the eastern North Sea, so we can start intercepting those convoys, and we are hitting them nicely, which will result in less divisions because troop transports are getting sunk. We've got command power now. We've assigned it onto more air crews. We're going to take that off for now, and what we're going to do is make our admiral stronger. We're going to go for Lancer, and we're also going to go for loading drill master, and we're also going to go for concealment expert. And when we have the chance, we'll go for retreat decision chance. And he needs to level up for that one, though. And look at all these convoys. Nice, nice, nice. And you're probably thinking, oh no, this is the end of the world. They've landed. That's it. No way the Norwegians in the UK can hold them back, right? Nope. Because we are going to be intercepting their convoys, so their supply here will be really bad. And plus, that means there's going to be more troop transports. Okay, next one we're going to go for is colonial shipbuilding, where you get an absolute megaton of naval dockyards. That is beautiful. How is Germany doing right now? They've lost over half of their convoys. That's perfect. We are producing more heavy bombers than they can actually shoot down. We've just reached that point. One other number to keep an eye on is the amount of planes that Germany has. So right now we estimate between 4,000 and 5,000 planes. This strategy is all about getting rid of the German Navy and then getting rid of the German Air Force. And at that point, they'll be so crippled they won't be able to expand in any direction. Could do with probably one more civilian factory, so we have 16, and the rest will make more mills here. Then when we're done with that, we're going to focus on infrastructure to max that out, and max that one out, and eventually max that one out, and max that one out. More oil, more aluminium, more rubber. And then we'll need to focus on getting more industry techs, which results in more building slots, so we can put more factories in those states. Keep improving our bombers. So right now we can max the engine, more reliability, more bombing, more reliability. There we go. That's balanced. Next up, we're going to expand the colonial army, which will give us more manpower, then more military factories, and more military factories, and then how we can focus on other things such as excavation and the ultimate deterrent. The resistance banker reduces consumer goods by 10%. Also, another advice that's really worthwhile is commerce raiding genius. 20% extra convoy raiding efficiency. Very, 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 very good. So as you can see, Germany's landed in the north here. Zero supply, de-orging. And also in the south, it's a bit hit and miss with low org as well. The reason I'm focusing so heavily on getting factories right now is we need at least 51 to progress down this part of the focus tree. Domestic innovation, and Norway falls. Sad face. One thing I also tried is to try and boost Romania. But Romania will go democratic, and it will get almost like 90%, 70, 80, 90% democratic. But if you've got historical turn on, they will always go for this focus. So regardless of ideology, they will always join the Axis, so it's a waste of time. My thought process was to deny them the oil, But I've noticed, no matter what you do, when it comes down to starving Germany of oil, they seem to always have enough from either refineries, importing from Romania, or just excess from the stockpile. Hey, we have Spain! Just Spain. Just Spain. With Lucas White, the faceless El Presidente. Alright, we can cancel our boost now. The objective here is now we have a democratic Spain and a democratic Turkey. So once Germany starts its little ambitions to the east, these will be the thorn in their side. This will be the Spanish guerrillas for Napoleon. Right? Get it? No? Okay. This is an event you have to be very, very, very careful with. This event means they are going to take all of your navy. Do not select that top one. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. You'll be in tears if you do. This is the current bombing situation. 50 bombers everywhere. Right, we don't need any more convoys now, so we'll finish that one, and then we'll focus just primarily on submarine production. Oh, hello. What is this? Who has been defeated? Got a few choices at this point. Now you've got your extra research slot. You can get some extra excavation. Very useful as the Netherlands because you've got so much resources to begin with, so you can get more and more and more on top of what you've already got. Ultimate deterrent is quite useful too, so you've got the extra research slot. I'm going to go for that just as an insurance policy, just if the bombers don't do enough damage and they get really lucky against the Soviets. So as I said to you before, these ones require you to be at peacetime, but these two do not. So in this case, just go for them now. We've got the excess political power. Why not? If you'd not gone for the method where you boost Spain and Turkey, you would have more political power, so you would have been able to go for these ones a lot earlier. So feel free to do whatever you feel best with. I would prefer to flip them to democratic, and the reason why I would prefer that isn't because they potentially could join the Allies. They may not join the Allies. It just denies them from joining the Axis. Producing loads of bombers here, so don't forget, if you've got them in the stockpile, make more bombers. Try and bomb every single tile that Germany owns. Got a bit of excess XP now. We can go for day bombing, plus 30% strategic bombing. Germany versus the Soviet Union. Here we go. Who will win? Comment below. From enemy bombing, we have reduced their war support by 30%, which results in them having 95% war support because they've got so many modifiers. Damn. We now have a new threat, a new problem, and that is Japan, because they're going for a strike. The southern resource area. Japan normally is a lot easier to take out. They normally concentrate all of their convoys around this area. They'll have naval plans already set up for all this region. So all you have to do is intercept all their convoys, and you can knock out like 500 convoys within like 6 months. So we are coming back to Germany because Germany isn't officially 100% beat. We will need to return to you. What we're going to do now is cancel all of our orders for our subfleet. And then we are going to put them on convoy raiding. Here. Probably not need those two, actually. This will just do fine because this will be a defensive screen against the Japanese invasions. There is a massive exploit in this video, but you can't see it. It's not visible. I'm playing on Iron Man. The only reason I know of this exploit is I tested this run, but I didn't play it on Iron Man. And I jumped into the console and I looked at Germany to have a look at what they were struggling with. And one thing Germany does every single game is it puts its military factories at the very bottom. So if you're not aware, if you have broken factories due to bombing, the production that's at the bottom of the production queue are the ones that take the damaged military factories. So in this case, if I had assigned one here and I had one damaged military factories, the one on the bottom would get affected by it, but the ones on top would be ignored. What the AI does as Germany is it puts all of its planes at the bottom of the production queue, regardless of how many planes they have or how many military factories they've got. So they'll have fighters on the bottom, then heavy bombers such as tacticals or strategics, and then just above it, there'll be close air support. So what happens is when we bomb Germany and aim for military factories, they stop producing fighters because too many of their factories are damaged. The result will be their air force will shrink, reducing less planes in the air and less offensive capabilities. This is the objective of this. One thing you have to agree on, this is pretty beautiful, right? Strategic bombers on their missions everywhere. As you can see here, we're engaging convoys by the Japanese. A lot of them are unescorted, probably because they're having to naval invade from long distances. Also, you're probably wondering, why aren't they intercepting us in these regions? I think the way it works is the German AI is scripted to move its planes in different directions depending on the level of threat. So it sees these bombers, 50 of them, as not much of a threat to actually worth putting fighters here. Just an overview of research here. Working on construction, which we need the building slots for. More fuel. Working on air doctrines to make our strategic bombers stronger. Streamlined line gives more production efficiency growth, which is good for the production of planes. And we're working on nuke tech as an insurance policy. These are the zones I'm currently covering. These are just protective, defensive ones, just to block naval invasions. These ones are slightly more offensive to the north, to take out a lot of the suppliers coming into China. Let's surround Japan. Meaning cut off from the mainland, meaning forces on the mainland will have practically no supply. A lot of these bombers now are all veterans, so extra agility, air attack, which helps them be defensive, as well as night operations bonus. Just get an idea of the scale of the bombing. In the capital region of Germany, in the last 30 days, we've hit 6.7 factories. Over the last 12 months, we've hit 64. So the result of that is they might be repairing it quicker than we could deal damage to it. Very slowly but truly, that's to stress the German economy. We're now producing almost 2.3 strategic bombers per day. That is a huge amount of bombers. This is the point where we've reached a critical mass where it's really difficult for Germany to be able to push us back. I have a feeling right now that we've done so much damage to their military factories that there's probably lacking targets for them. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select all of them and I'm going to assign them onto civilian factories as well. We've defeated Japan at sea, 0 convoys, halved their overall fleet size. We're not getting any new interceptions. So right now, Japan is well and truly beat. So we can cancel the orders here, and then we can send them back to Europe. I'm going to wrap around Norway, Bay of Biscay, African coast, all the way down to the Cape of Africa. Also, with you, the fleet that's stuck in the Baltic, the 3 that are left, you're going to go back on convoy raiding here and here. It might only seem like small adjustments, small tweaks, convoy raiding, the bombing, limiting Spain and Turkey from entering. As you can see, the Germans are really struggling to push east. They've not moved that much in the last year. So this is working. It's a grind, but it works. Hey, Turkey has joined the Allies. That is really good. That's another front line that Germany has to deal with. 2 things to look at now. 1, they have no convoys. 2, their navy is completely battered and bruised. And 3rd, those air force numbers have not increased in a long time. What's going on there? Dirk, it has been nice, dude. But unfortunately, we have found a replacement. Goodbye. Now we've got Mustache Man 2. The only navy that's not completely defeated now is Italy's. So let's get into the Mediterranean and get rid of the remaining of their navy and their convoys. Subfleet is so large right now we can do both, so why not both, right? Another way of getting building slots late game is also go for these 2. These will give you an additional building slot. Because we've got nuclear reactors research, we can add those to the building queue, which we will add them in every place where it is possible. Here, 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 and here. There's also a slot here. Need to make sure we build it in every possible location. No! Turkey! And funnily enough, Greece is still holding on, but Turkey's fallen. Come on, Turkey. Come on. Is this the beginning? Are we making progress? Is this it? Here as well. And here. And here. Okay, this tends to be a sign that the Axis are struggling. And the amount of divisions they've got overall, 400 for Germany at this point, 1943, is very, very low. There's not much to research now, so we can step down from free trade onto limited exports, which frees up a lot of aluminium and a significant amount of fuel too. Italy is on its last legs. The soft underbelly of the German Reich has been exposed. Italy's just holding on. Turkey is back. All right, first nuke goes on Hamburg. Boom. Camera went all wonky then. Another thing you can do with strategic bombers is kind of spy on the level of supply that the nation has. F4 is your supply mode. 118 supply inside of this zone. So what I can do, select all the bombers here and tell them to directly aim for infrastructure. So what we can see before our very eyes now is the infrastructure dip down. Look how affected that is. So what you notice is that when you destroy the infrastructure in the capital region, it affects the supply for the entirety of the nation, and you can cripple the supply of the entirety, in this case, Germany, by completely, repeatedly bombing it over and over again. Oh my god, I didn't actually realize this was going to be this effective. We've dropped it by over half. This actually might be the final blow. To give a scale of how much damage we're doing, if you go on the supply map mode, every single one of these in red is infrastructure that's damaged. Alright. And for some more nukes. Frankfurt, Stuttgart. Boom. 69% war support. The front lines in Turkey and Greece have met up. United States has pushed all the way into southern Italy. They're about to be capitulated. Yep. 99%. And also the Soviets have pushed into northern Germany. Almost time for liberation. Italy's gone. It looks like Japan's making a comeback. Love watching the convoy count. Watch it melt. 33, 27, 23, 13, 5, 3, 1. Romania has broken. They're on the steps of Berlin. Vienna's new capital of Germany. I've got a surprise. Boom. What are the casualties? 18 million for the Soviets, 12 million losses for Germany. The final nuke on Munich. Boom. The end. Done. Oh, we get to take a little bit of land too. How nice. Go here. Oh, everyone has passed. So I get everything else. Okay. I need 7,000 points to do this. This is a lot of clicking. There we go. All of that. Boom. Done. Look how beautiful that is. All of this. And all of this. And I don't even have to worry about the Dutch East Indies anymore. It's all technically part of the Netherlands. And then finally, the achievement. Liberation. The land that Russia took after World War II is now owned by the Netherlands. Historical game, by the way. There we go. Liberation. Achievement unlocked. If I didn't already have the achievement. There we go. Done it. If you want to thank me for making this video and for you getting this achievement, subscribe. And don't forget to ring the bell. Otherwise, your subscription means absolutely nothing. Have a good day, everyone. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye. What is this? The dawn of the Confederate Middle Eastern nations. Really, Soviets? Really? We had 1 month of peace? Really?
Bevrijding.